Let's start with these three key macroeconomic indicators. Gross domestic product, or as known as GDP. It measures the total value of goods and services provided in a country. When GDP is rising, it signals economic growth, and where it falls, it indicates contraction. Second, inflation is the rate at which general price level rises, reducing purchasing power of money. Moderate inflation is typical in a healthy economy, but high inflation can erode profits and consumer spending. Third, unemployment measures the percentage of people actively seeking work but unable to find jobs. High employment suggests economic distress, while low employment reflects a robust economy. Thus, these changes help us identify current stage of business cycle, whether the economy is expanding, peaking, contracting, or recovering. Now let's consider the government planned tax rebate by 25% planned from the government this year. Using the aggregate demand and aggregate supply model, in the short run, the tax rebate increases will increase disposable income for individuals, so thus boosting demand as more people have higher purchasing power. And this shift in aggregate demand will lead to higher output and possibly higher prices, thus bolstering economic growth and potentially reducing unemployment. However, in the long run, the effect is dependent on how business and consumers may respond. If the economy is already near full employment, the increased demand may result in inflation rather than significant increase in output. Thus, for our organization, we could see higher sales in the short term as customers have more higher spending power. However, we should also be mindful about potential inflation, which could increase our costs down the line. With the news of Donald Trump's recent increase of tariffs, it has become quite a hot topic and quite a worry for many businesses. So let's talk about it. So first off, let's start off with what is a tariff. A tariff is a tax on things that come into a country. It makes imported goods more expensive, which would cause the supply curve to move to the left, and thus makes things more expensive for people. So in America's case, they're trying to bolster revenue for the domestic producers by reducing competition. However, as a result, consumers would face higher prices and less choice. So, who are the winners? Domestic producers and the government, as they will be collecting more tariff revenue. And who are the losers? Consumers and us. Consumer who have less choice and will have to pay higher prices, and us who are only able to sell less for the same amount. So, in that case, if we depend on imported materials, tariffs could make our expenditures go up and force us to raise prices, which could result in fewer sales. On the other hand, if we produce things locally, we maybe get a temporary boost in revenue, but we also need to think about potential hazards of trade retaliation and higher costs of parts that come with foreign nations. Finally, let's talk about behavioral economics. Behavioral economics takes into account that humans have biases and emotions that often affect decisions, while traditional economics assumes that everyone reacts logically. So let's explain in how these emotional processes affect behavioral economics in these two examples. First off is anchoring biases. Consumers may be fixed on a certain reference price. By setting initial prices or offering discounts, we can set a perceived value and increase conversions by making buyers feel like they have a good deal. Second, loss aversion. People prefer avoiding losses while acquiring gains, highlighting customers what they might lose by not choosing our product. Rather than just feel the benefits, we can drive sales by creating a sense of FOMO known as fear of missing out. So finally, let's get to the conclusion. It is vital to keep up with macroeconomic trends, with government policies and global trade, and how individuals react. We can help you stay adaptable, competitive, and capitalize on new opportunity because of this knowledge. Thank you and have a nice day.